Imagine if you could stop time, or maybe even reverse it. You can look younger, and for this you do not need to spend a lot of money on various complex cosmetic procedures. And all you need to do is know certain principles and follow some rules. This way you will be able to look 10-15 years younger and feel great. Watch this video to the end, because in it we will tell you how to achieve this. Friends, in order to stay healthy, beautiful and active for a long time, it is important to take a comprehensive approach to this issue. But how not to get confused in all this? Where to get answers to questions? You can learn all this useful information about health and longevity from the videos on our channel. So we recommend subscribing and turning on the bell so as not to miss new useful releases. So let's go! Rule number 1. Try to avoid direct sunlight. The sun ages the skin very much. Moreover, it provokes skin cancer. A lot of sun is harmful, but of course the complete exclusion of the sun is also harmful to us. What is to completely exclude the sun? This means living for a month in the basement or somewhere in a cave. Then we will really have serious side effects from lack of sun. But we still rarely go to such extremes, but it's much easier to be under too much sunlight. To prove this fact, we can cite the story of a famous trucker who traveled the same routes for many years, and the sun blinded him only from one side. In this photo, you can clearly see that the left and right sides of the face look like they are 20 or 30 years younger and older than each other. Of course, this is not the only example. There are a lot of such examples. In addition, if you get into peak sunlight hours, it's from about 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And in clear weather, that is when it's not cloudy, then of course it is recommended to use sunscreen. By the way, sunscreens also have a lot of nuances. The fact is that there are sunscreens that protect only from rays of type A or only from rays of type B. Of course, you need to choose creams that protect against both A and B rays. Very often, for example, people have such a situation when they buy a sunscreen with the inscription FPS 30, and they think, "Oh great, so this will protect my skin from the sun." And then they get badly burnt in the sun, thinking, why is the cream so bad? Why is it not it worked? The thing is that the inscription FPS 30 is an indicator of protection from only one type of rays. So if you buy a sunscreen, make sure that it also has the inscription UVA, also have inscription UVB. If these signs are there, it means that the cream protects against two types of rays. Let's move on. The next point is taking care of our skin. Of course, we will not give here the various procedures that are offered in beauty salons. Many of them are absolutely useless. Only some of them are really effective. But still, these procedures should be supervised by a specialist and prescribed individually. In this video, we will tell you about the basic rules that suit every person. And in general, everyone who needs a healthy appearance should adhere to these rules. Our skin needs sufficient fluid intake, at least 1 liter of water per day. It is better, of course, if it is closer to 2 liters. And besides the fact that we moisturize our skin by taking water inside, it is also necessary to moisturize the skin from the outside. And the simplest moisturizer is suitable for this. You don't need to buy something expensive and fancy. In most cases, it's just marketing. A regular moisturizer, and that will be enough. The fact is that dry skin not only looks dry, which is no longer very good and adds several years to us, but also begins to wear out more intensively and become covered with wrinkles. So these rules should really get into your permanent habit for a long time. Let's move on. The next point that is extremely harmful to our skin is of course smoking. There is even an option that stable smoking immediately adds about 10 years to an adult's appearance. At the same time, those people who quit smoking very soon notice that their skin becomes much healthier and more beautiful in appearance, acquires a healthier shade, and generally looks much better. This happens literally a few months after quitting smoking. By the way, friends, if you want to learn more about what will happen to your body if you quit smoking, then there is a separate issue on this topic on our channel. You can find this video by following the hint in the upper right corner or in the description below this video. Let's move on. It is recommended to limit the use of salts. Probably it will not be possible to completely exclude this, and in general there is no need for this. Sufficient salt intake for a person is 2 5 grams per day. You don't need less, and you also don't need more. But in fact, people often abuse salt. If you purposefully salt your food, then most likely you consume more than 5 grams of salt per day. And if you do not salt any food in principle, then most likely you consume about 2 grams per day. The fact is that salt is still found almost everywhere, of course in small doses, but it is there. Excessive salt intake retains water in our body. Because of this, we may have swelling, especially under the eyes. A person who consumes too much salt may start to look slightly swollen. Moreover, salt is harmful to our blood vessels. It increases blood pressure, and blood vessels are what nourishes our skin. Unhealthy vessels prevent the intake of nutrients into our body. The next point is, of course, nutrition. We talked about this in more detail in one of our previous videos, where we gave a specific list of products that rejuvenate our body. You can find this video by clicking on the hint that appears in the upper right corner, or by clicking on the link in the description. Be sure to watch this video, friends. Nutrition should be balanced. We should get enough protein, because protein is collagen, that is the building material for our skin. It is also necessary to consume a sufficient amount of vitamins and minerals. There are also certain nuances in nutrition that do not relate to vitamins and minerals, but which greatly affect our appearance. In general, in the description, you will find a link to a video where we analyze in detail the topic of nutrition. Be sure to take a look. Let's move on. The next point that will greatly affect your appearance and how others evaluate you is your posture. And it has a very strong psychological impact, and double both on others and on yourself. It has been proven many times that people with a straight posture are perceived by others as stronger, more beautiful, and generally attractive. At the same time, those people who walk with a straight posture themselves tend to feel more confident than those who slouch. Moreover, a straight posture is useful not only for appearance, but also for our health too, because the curvature of the spine will lead to osteochondrosis. And there are many negative consequences, because a huge number of nerve endings are suitable for the spinal cord. And the spinal cord also regulates the work of our internal organs. Therefore, sometimes people may even have stomach problems due to the pinched vertebrae. The next trick to look younger is not to neglect sunglasses. It often happens that we go outside on a very bright sunny day without glasses and think that we will somehow squint. In principle, this is normal. But on the other hand, when we squint too much, a large number of wrinkles form around the eyes over the years. Therefore, it is better not to be lazy and take glasses with you. This will slow down the appearance of wrinkles. In addition, it is more convenient for our eyes. Friends, which of these rules do you already follow? Feel free to write your opinion in the comments. If this video was useful for you, then like and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new useful releases. We also recommend watching our previous videos. Thanks for watching.